So, the Graduate Network. We are a network of practitioners who've each built a regional initiative to get adults back to and through college. It started out in Philadelphia in 2005, which is why we're here. Philadelphia was 92nd out of the 100 largest cities in the United States in terms of educational attainment, post-secondary educational attainment. And at the same time, we were one of the top producers of college degrees as well. And what happened was that most of our grads came from somewhere else, and then they moved on someplace else. And the city's reaction, very smartly and understandably, was to create Campus Philly. We heard about Campus Philly and how they have changed, how the people who come from other places now stay in Philadelphia. But there was also another strategy that we thought was well worth investing in, and that was people who started college but have dropped out. So they were not on anybody's radar. And we found that 18% of adults in Philadelphia at the time, it was ages 25 to 49, 18% had earned a degree, and another 18% had started college and never finished. We saw a great opportunity here. Thousands of individuals who had some college credit already. Granted, they had problems too, but we learned how to help them overcome. We designed an advising model that works for adults. We organize information to help them make better decisions. We give them a little bit of help with paperwork. We connect them directly to the people at colleges who actually can help them go back, not just a website. We recognize the need to build resilience, problem-solving skills, and a systems approach to navigating college. Advisors are careful not to do the work for comebackers to avoid creating new dependencies, and these are the results of the people who followed the plan that they themselves laid out for themselves and didn't skip a semester. Success rates are 79%. Compare this to the national average of 43% of all adults completing college, and this population was not responding to outreach by colleges and universities to come back. Their chance of success without the graduate intervention was 0. As we got going, others asked us to show them what we were doing. So first we helped out in Hartford, Connecticut, and then Chicago, and then came Memphis and Greensboro and Louisville and Nashville and Columbia, South Carolina and Jacksonville, and after them St. Louis and now others. And that's when we all of a sudden realized that we were part of a network, that we had scaled, sort of, without even noticing or understanding what and how. One of the things that we also noticed, that we sort of became a network of champions, of practitioners, of people who are listening and sharing with each other. We have never sold our products. We have just always gone and helped other people figure it out. We've always said, what is unique to your community is what you need to bring to the table. Let us help you with all the things that are common to all the communities. Let us help you accelerate and ramp up so that you are free in your own community to do what needs to be done for your community. And so all of a sudden we have this network of peers really learning from each other, and we're able to bring back the learning that is evolving around the network back to all of our communities. And so we were sort of happy this way. A little crazy, but happy. And then last year, the Lumina Foundation, who was one of our founders, conducted a study of their top 20 performing programs over their 15 years of funding, with an eye to scaling those that had the potential to impact the most people in the country. And they selected 3 programs, and one of them was Graduate. So we thought we were growing an organic network driven by opportunities to share and learn, but Lumina's interest and subsequent support and some other funders have raised some really big questions for us. And my talk here is to share some of these questions with you if you're thinking of scale. So the first thing that I think we can all agree on is that scale by itself is nothing. You need impact as well if you want to achieve the social good that you're after. It seems a no-brainer, but I found it an important reminder that as we're scaling, we may need to think differently about our impact. So scale means different things. It means reaching more people in more places. We asked ourselves what we were adding. Are we adding 1,000 or 10,000 new clients a year? Are we adding more places where 10,000 new clients each year can receive services? Or are we going to get people to understand the process and then go on and build their own scale and the impact? Our current intervention, of course, what we do now, but we realize that we also have to continue delivering more value, higher quality interventions, and new interventions. There's innovation going on all the time about how adults are going back to college. And so we also realize that there's a bigger goal. There is the goal of growing what we're doing, but there is the bigger goal, which has always been in the back of our heads and has been actually in our vision, is that we have to really go to aim for mainstream adoption of investing in adults completing college. So everyone is doing it without us having to ask them or to pay them. So our thinking and planning in order to get to that had to follow two trajectories, to scale or not to scale, which really comes down at the end to a leadership question, and how to scale. Did I get here already? Great. There are organizational approaches. I think all this is going to be in your handouts or posted somewhere, so I'm not going to read it. But there's a dichotomy between direct service and indirect influence. We realized that we were somewhere in the middle, and we had a choice of how we were going to move. Were we going to grow that middle, where we're developing and promoting a model, providing technical assistance, controlling some of the information, or whether we were going to start moving towards policy and influence. The other really important questions that we started asking ourselves is who wants it to scale? Even, assuming that we have identified a real need, do the people out there, 38 million Americans, some college, no degree, do they want this kind of service? Do any of the stakeholders that we need to engage in our local partnerships and networks, do the businesses want this? Do the higher eds want it? Do governments want it? Do we have evidence of full market interest, funders and beneficiaries? Or is this a funder-driven want to scale? That was one of the core questions that we asked early on. Is this just Lumina wanting us to scale without a real market need? Will it scale? This is where we went to, there's a slide missing. There's a slide missing, I'm sorry. The slide that's missing says this, because we went to some entrepreneurs who've scaled. There's no blind spot larger than there's no blind spot larger than an inventor's optimism for their own idea. Our idea, Lumina's idea, Goal 2025, and I do want to give the citation. It came from someone who's helped a lot of inventors and entrepreneurs, Tony Sacksetter, founder of White Space Labs. So we started asking, do we have a model that will work in different communities, with different policies, under different circumstances, different geographies? Have we piloted and experimented enough? Do we know how to reach and serve larger numbers of people? And what are we relying on for this? Inspiration, technology, people and partnerships, other networks, our own organizational capacity? And how will we measure what we're doing? And then the next question is, what will it take? And this really comes down to a cost-benefit analysis. Some organizations have scaled, have looked into the tens of millions of dollars and even above that. And as you all know, fundraising for your own organizations, that is really hard work. It takes a lot of energy from an organization. Or do we keep ourselves small and we try to raise all this money for the people who are doing the work? These are all questions that we're just beginning to answer. Jenny asked me to talk about this, and so I thought it was important, if any of you are thinking about scaling, to show you where we are. And then the question is, how do we scale? So assuming that we've decided to scale. And I found two articles that have really been helpful, and I'm just putting these slides up so that you can then go and look at these articles. One is about plotting your end game, and there are options. You can go open source, give it all away. You can be the person providing the sustained service to everyone in the world. You can go for replication, one by one by one. You need a fairly deep bench for that. You can turn it into something commercial, a for-profit, right? These are all big questions, and I think in reality, we sort of end up somewhere in the middle. And the other question is, do you want to have a decentralized or a centralized network? Who owns? Right? This really comes down to control. Can you live with decentralized control? Can you live with other people doing the work that you inspired them to do, mobilize them to do, without really controlling how they do it, and then they get to teach other people? And then where does it all go, and where does it all end? I think this is where we're heading right now, sort of a network of networks. We're in the hub, we're the weaver, just because historically this is where we started. So right now we're helping with national initiatives, we're helping build the influence, we're the convener for a lot of the work that's being done. We certainly do most of the research. We have the knowledge platform. We provide a lot of technical assistance and shared services. We hope to push that out increasingly to more of what this graphic calls co-hubs and nodes. Each node is a site in a different city right now. We can see that they're surrounded by their partners, what makes them work. We hope that some of them will evolve so that they can be leaders, either geographically or by topic. And then all of a sudden we hope to see, like that node that's up there, that's just really loosely connected to us still, but they're doing great work. And we just want to keep in touch so that we can learn from what they're doing. There are a lot of other really big questions that we're wrestling with right now that you can look at. We've paid a lot of money to consultants to come up with this. Open source, this is all yours. And then the real big question that it comes down to at the end of the day is, and I'll flip these around, is your board prepared for this kind of work? And then as a leader, are you prepared? Because this is certainly not for the faint of heart. And I want to end with an invitation. Thank you for listening. And if anyone is considering scaling, I would love to share thoughts with you. Thank you.